Very, very, very well said. And I think I like that angle in the sense that, yes, we can always look at the obvious, but there's a part of it that's saying that Ogun State is focusing on those issues that are extremely sustainable. And whilst we deal with the environment, which we talked about extensively yesterday, it's nice that we are bringing in the issue about people, being extremely people-focused, and I think that's a great one. I'm going to go to, I'm going to skip you for a while, and I'm going to go to Peju and ask that, I'm going to come back to you later on, because I have my reason for that. Peju, again, any opening thoughts? Lafarge has been around for a while. You are extremely familiar with the state, long history. What your comments?
Thank you very much. I was recently at the Ogun State 40th year anniversary, and for a while I wondered who was the host, because indeed Lafarge in the form of WAPCO has been in the state for 59 years. It was established in 1959. And so I think we actually predated Ogun State, having been part of the Western region. And as my colleague from Unilever said, over the years, through civil administration, through military regimes, through successive changes of ownership of the then WAPCO, which is now Lafarge Africa PLC, we have continued to invest in Ogun State. We've invested in so many areas. From the obvious areas, we have 5 cement plants, we have 7 ready-mix plants, we have 1 aggregate quarry. On top of that, we're invested in power. We have 90 megawatts currently in Iwekoro. We're moving that to 310 megawatts by 2017. We have huge social investments. We estimate our social impact is in the region of 24 billion naira per annum. We have huge environmental investments, which is very much in line with the theme of this conference. We have huge investments in the community. And the question is, why do we continue to invest in Ogun State? As my colleague has said, I must say that I may be slightly biased because I'm a proud daughter of Ogun State, so I will try to remove that bias from this conversation. But I do believe that here we have one of the most investor-friendly and accessible governments in the country. I remember once I brought one of my CEOs to visit the governor, and he took us on a personally driven tour of Ogun State around all the sites, and we spent about an hour at an industrial waste site, standing right there in the landfill. And so I think the investor-friendly nature of the state draws very much from the leadership of the personal leadership of the governor. Of course, you can't invest in any state if there's no peace and security. By nature, cement companies are there for a long time. We tend to invest for 50 years, 100 years, and we have one of the most peaceful relationships in terms of community relationships in this state. And that gives us the confidence to keep on investing. There's very good security in the state. It's clear that we have very good transportation links. It's not for no reason that this state is called the gateway state. And of course, the state is very close to the biggest markets in Nigeria. So we have invested very much in Ogun State over the years. We continue to invest. And the area going forward, the areas of environmental investments, my colleagues yesterday spoke about what we're doing in terms of municipal waste and agroforestry. That's very important to us. Cement companies have become leaders in terms of waste to energy and waste to wealth. And Ogun State is right there at the forefront, pioneering this in Nigeria. And we also continue to invest in the state going forward in terms of affordable housing and mass housing. And we're working together in partnership to see how we can actually democratize and industrialize housing in Nigeria. And so there are many, many areas of collaboration with the state that we've invested in over the last 50 plus years. And we see that we'll continue to invest in over the next 50 years and centuries to come. So our experience in Ogun State has been extremely positive. We're looking at additional investments in terms of cement plants, in terms of ready-mix quarries. And very importantly, as was spoken about yesterday, we're also investing heavily in concrete roads. And we've just built a road in front of our plant in Iwekoro. So there are very, very many areas of collaboration with the state, not only in the past, that we continue to look forward to in the future.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. I'm going to go to the extreme. I'll come back. Let's deal with this. I'm going to go back and forth. I'm going to the very end to Mr. Onof Okon. And I know that, again, we find a lot of youthful exuberance coming into an organization that's very key. You and I were discussing before we started the session. Again, if we have investors sitting out there, what would be your own comments, your own experience that you will share?
Good morning, everybody. For us, ours has been an investment more into the power sector type of business, which is where a supportive sector by making wire for the power sector, the distribution or the transmission sector. Coleman Wires and Cable has been a brand for over 20 years. Actually started off in Lagos, then moved into Ogun State in 2009, and we moved virtually all our business. Now, moving the business from where you started from to a totally new location has a lot of dependency on certain things you're looking for. Ease of doing business, access to your business, the growth and the growth potential of actually the investment in that area. The potential of actually using what space you have and the long-term, the near-term and the long-term view of the area. I think for us, when we were looking at it, Ogun State was more, not only as my dear sister just said, that we're a bit biased, of course, we're also from the state. But taking the biasness out of it, the state is viable on the basis of business. If you look at the proximity to the port, you have less than an hour from the port. If you're looking at raw material accessibility, if there's no traffic, it's less than 30 minutes. Now, that gives you good access to raw material, gives you good access to opportunity of export also. Now, in putting the business here, when we started, I think it was a very good idea for us then, and I think it's still a good idea because we've invested more. Now, between the 7 years of being in Ogun State, 2009 to now, we've been able to expand from a business on just 15,000 square meters to, well, looking at over 100,000 square meters now. And that expansion is coupled on today that we went into the production of house wiring cable here, and later on went into the production of specialized cable for the oil industry. Later on went into the production of high voltage cable in Shagamu. And it indirectly put us on the map, but it put Ogun State also on the map as a viable state, because today we're the first state and the first country in West Africa to make high voltage. And we became only the 6th country in the continent to actually have a production plant. And that added a lot to the impetus on what we're trying to do on power. Now, we still see an investment opportunity here because we're also doing backward integration. And we're looking at additional infrastructure, additional expansion into smelting our copper here locally, smelting our aluminum here in the same Shagamu. And so you're looking at business opportunities on a larger scale in terms of investment capacity, in terms of people skills, in terms of people employment. And I have to give it to the government also that what I've seen in the last few years, especially in the last 5 years, the actual access to the government, access to their business thinking has improved a lot. It's more private orientated push, and without private sector push between the public sector and the private sector, you cannot see sustainable growth in certain areas, especially industrialization. For me, I don't believe government should be in business. Business is for the private sector. Government is for overseeing the business and the environment and the actual statutes of what they run in. Now, so for us, it has worked well so far. And I think they can still do better because they're doing a lot now, but you can't satisfy everybody. Our wants are big, our needs might be very little. But we can still do a lot more in the States. For me, accessibility is improving from the federal government roadside, but we need to also look at accessibility off-road. From my own point of view, if I have to look at Ogun State, the biggest viability of Ogun State is land access. Now, we have land. We have access to the seaport. Now, everybody wants to come into Ogun State. I still had a meeting with someone that was looking for 25 acres yesterday, and it was a foreign investment. And I was encouraging him to go ahead with his Ogun State purchase of 25 acres because they want to put an industrial sector there. And one thing I told him that why he should endure, and he said, unfortunately, he's been on this negotiation for 3-4 years, and they've not concluded, only because of 2 acres in between the land that is on dispute. And I said, have you actually spoken to the government about it? Because these are disputes that the government will be interested in resolving, because this is 25 acres of industrial land you want to put into place. So we need to also encourage others to do it. But access, what I meant by access is, a good example is Lagos-Ibadan Express Road, which is majorly in Ogun State. Most of that road, everybody wants to be on the front of the road. Most industries I've met want to buy land on the road. Now, why are they all chasing the road access? Because it's easy access for their business, easy access to their business. Now, what I suggested was that why don't we take every 5 kilometers of this road and build a 10-kilometer access road the other direction? Now, you've given every 5 kilometers access to someone on the road, but now it's off the road. And then the land value also increases. The opportunity for land use collection also increases because everybody goes on that road again. And then we offshoot the roads again. So my focus is that we need easy access to the business, but we can also create more access to other businesses wanting to join us. Because the person that was talking about 25 acres was also on Lagos-Ibadan Express Road, on the road. Nobody wants to go off the road. So we need to look at how many off-roads can we create to attract additional investment that people that want to come into the road. That's my own addition to it.
Thank you.